Looks like this one. So yeah, I guess all of you already had the opportunity to choose some software you want to use, or maybe some libraries you want to use in your software. And of course, you have to need some criteria to do this. So first of all, you have to take a look on the functionalities. So are the tools doing what you want to have done? But also you have to take a look on the license so that you are legally allowed to use it how you want to, or how you have to use it maybe. Also, you need that the tool is having a look and feel like you want it, and also very important how your users want it, because otherwise they won't accept it. And of course, also performance and stability are very important, because we want our software to be running smoothly, we want to have low operational costs. And of course, if we don't want to have stability, we could still stick to software built in Redmond, right? And also, some kind of knowledge is very important, so we have to know how to use these tools, and if we also know how to develop it, that's a big advantage of open source. Our sovereignty is even increasing. And like already mentioned, the community is very important on those projects. So if we want to take a look, if a community is very active, one might think this is easy. So we can just open the GitHub page, and then here, for example, the XZ library, we see there are 162 stars. There is a reasonable number of forks, there are a lot of commits, and the last commit was 3 days ago. So on the first sight, this looks very good. But the screenshot is not from today or even this week. It was taken on the 28th of March last year. And maybe you remember what happened on the next day. There was published the CVE, including the backdoor, which was introduced by an attacker to the XZ library. And how did this work out? Well, the XZ library was mainly maintained by one single person, which was overworked. And this person was looking for additional support, and an attacker saw this as a chance. So he started to contribute alleged code to the project, and in that way, he in a short time got really high trust by the original maintainer. And so he could introduce this backdoor without that it was noticed before publishing and releasing it. Yeah, and that this is not happening again, we want to monitor the community of our open source projects, mainly with two questions in our mind. So the first one is from a user perspective, which tools do I want to use? But also we can see it from a developer perspective who wants to provide something back to the community. And then you might ask which projects are in need of help, so where could I support? And to solve this problem, we are collecting all the public information from projects. This means cloning the Git repositories, but also fetching the information from issues and merge requests from the collaboration platforms, and fitting this to a set of metrics we have created. I will come later to this. You can find this all for free and available on our website. And based on these metrics, we are calculating also an overall score, which then is a quick overview if a project is stable in its community-wise or not. And while building this, we had in mind that it should work out for all open source projects, so independent from the programming language or the project size or maybe the ecosystem it's living in. And of course, we wanted to support several collaboration platforms. So right now we are supporting GitHub and the public GitLab.com instance. We are planning to support Codeback and OpenCode, and we already implemented GitLab.com. It's quite easy to implement also other self-hosted GitLab instances as long as they are reachable from the internet, so that we can pull the repositories and if we get an API key to fetch the issues and merge requests. So what metrics are we taking a look on? So the first pillar we are building on are the commits, because there we see how was the code developed. Who did they develop, so which person, but also to which organizations do those persons belong, because maybe all the committers are from one company, and then this might also be a dependency we have in there. But also, how often are commits done, and also if there is an elephant in the room, so if there's only one person doing all of the commits, and only this person has the knowledge about the project, this is also a dependency, which might escalate very quickly if this person, for example, has an accident or just no longer interest in this project. With the issues, we are taking a look to the future of the project. So are people discussing what features might be implemented there, but also are bugs noticed and worked on. So that's why we also have a look on if they are closed and how long does this take. And we're also taking a look on the comments. So is only one person working there, or are different people discussing there? And the same holds true for the pull requests. Added there that we take a look on the reviews, because there we want to see that not only one person is doing all the pull requests and merging them. We also want to see that people are doing reviews and discussing on the code there, just to make sure there are no bugs or no security vulnerabilities, but also that people can learn from each other by discussing their code suggestions. So of course, while developing this, we also had some challenges. First of the challenge were the API limits, so we have to grab a lot of information from GitHub and GitLab. And especially on GitHub, we are quite limited there because the API has some rate limiting on IP basis, but also on the API tokens you're using. So if you have big projects, this is taking a while, and even to collect a lot of projects, this is also taking a lot of time. Then, of course, the collaboration platforms are not identically. So, for example, taking a look on reviews. On GitHub, you have a review, and this review usually contains a comment why it was approved or declined. This is not true for GitLab. There you have just more or less the Boolean information, if it was approved or not, and the discussion is happening in normal comments on the merge request. And of course, there are some numbers which have to be seen relative. So for example, if we have a smaller project, we expect there are less issues than with bigger projects. And the first idea to take this in relation would be to take a look on the lines of code the projects have. But this doesn't also work out because depending on the programming language, you need fewer or more lines to solve the same problem. So we decided to put it in historic relation. So we say we assume that it was fine in the past, and then now we take a look if the number, for example, for issues is increasing or descending, and then take our mind on that. So how does this look like? So this is our website. You can go to it on OSCM, like open source community monitoring.disq.de. Enter the URL of the project you're interested in, and if it's already monitored, you will get the results page. And there we show for each metric the raw data we collected in our last run, also a short description what this metric is about, and then the points for each metric. And if you would scroll up, then we will also get the overall rating for the project. So, like I already said, take a look on our website, please. Try it out with your projects. As it's live for, I guess, 2 weeks now, there are not too many projects online right now. But if you enter a project which is not monitored yet, we will track this so that we can start with the projects of interest earlier than with other projects. And we would be really happy if you could provide us some feedback. So if you take a look and say, yeah, this rating is very good, or I would say this rating is not very good, just click the feedback button and provide this feedback to us so that we can improve our metrics over time. Yeah, having said that, thank you very much for your attention. And like always, stop talking, start quantifying.
Thank you. Now I want